Avengers. Secret Wars is not just another Marvel sequel. It isn't a grand finale in the way Endgame was. It is something much more clinical. It is Marvel's quiet admission that the system is broken. For over a decade, we've watched heroes save the world. But since the end of the Infinity Saga, the scale has shifted from worlds to realities. And in that shift, something fundamental was lost. Consequence. Secret Wars is the narrative correction for every shortcut, every time travel heist, and every multiversal crossover we've seen since 2019. It isn't about saving the multiverse, it's about deciding whether the multiverse deserves to exist at all. To understand why Secret Wars is inevitable, we have to look back at the moment the heroes won. In Avengers Endgame, the Avengers did something no hero had ever dared. They treated time as a resource. They didn't defeat Thanos through strength, they defeated him through editing. They went back, borrowed what they needed, and assumed that as long as they put the stones back, the bill would never come due. But time isn't a library, it's an ecosystem. By moving through it, they created fractures. They introduced the idea that loss is optional, that if you don't like the current reality, you can simply find a way to rewrite it. That was the original sin of the MCU. The Avengers didn't just save their timeline, they destabilized the very concept of a sacred history. They proved that reality is fragile, and more importantly, that it is editable. Then came Loki. While the Avengers were celebrating their victory, the TVA was cleaning up their mess. We were introduced to the sacred timeline. To the audience, it looked like a prison. We cheered when Sylvie killed He Who Remains because we value free will. But Loki showed us the terrifying truth. The sacred timeline wasn't about oppression, it was about containment. By destroying the loom, the characters didn't just free the multiverse, they unleashed a mathematical nightmare. Infinite timelines began to branch, collide, and compete for resources. Every choice spawned a new reality, and every reality created a new threat. The MCU moved from a story about people to a story about entropy. Free will didn't bring harmony, it brought pressure. And in any closed system, pressure always seeks a release. Secret Wars is that release. In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Marvel finally gave this collapse a name: Incursions. This was a pivot point for the franchise. The movie explicitly stated that multiversal travel is destructive by nature. Every time a hero jumps from one reality to another, they leave a footprint that weakens the boundaries between worlds. This means the heroes are no longer the protectors of reality. By the very act of trying to fix things across the multiverse, they are accelerating its destruction. Strange didn't stop the collapse. He simply witnessed the beginning of it. The MCU admitted that the multiverse is a failing engine. Every fix creates a fracture. Every jump weakens the wall. The heroes aren't saving the engine anymore, they're just redlining it. If Endgame broke time and Loki broke the structure, Spider-Man No Way Home broke the stakes. It was a cinematic triumph, but a narrative disaster for logic. It turned memory into a reset button. Mistakes were undone. Identity was wiped clean. It proved that in the modern MCU, death is just a temporary state, and consequence is something that can be magicked away. When nothing is permanent, sacrifice loses its weight. If you can pull a dead hero from another timeline, why should we care when one dies in ours? Secret Wars exists to restore that weight, not by adding more characters, but by removing the safety net. It is the end of the infinite backup system. Here is the CineLogic truth. The multiverse is a narrative poison. It creates a world where every character is replaceable and every ending is a maybe. Fans talk about who will be in Secret Wars, but they should be asking how many will be deleted. Marvel is currently suffering from narrative bloat. Too many characters, too many timelines, too much history. Secret Wars is the industrial strength solution. It's not a celebration of the past, it's a compression of it. The multiverse didn't fail because of villains like Kang or Doom. It failed because the stories became too heavy for the audience to hold. Despite the title, Secret Wars isn't a war in the traditional sense. Wars have front lines and clear objectives. This is a selection process. It's about which universes get to stay. Which versions of Peter Parker, Logan, or Reed Richards are canonical enough to survive the reset. That isn't heroism. That's authorship. It puts the Avengers in an impossible moral position. To save reality, they must become the very thing they fought against in Infinity War. Judges who decide who lives and who dies on a multiversal scale. The only difference between Thanos and the Avengers in Secret Wars is the justification. This is why Dr. Doom is the perfect antagonist for this story. Doom isn't a villain in the way Thanos was a nihilist. Doom is a pragmatist. He understands that unlimited freedom leads to extinction. He sees the multiverse bleeding to death and realizes that someone must take the needle and thread and sew it shut, even if the result is a scar. Doom doesn't want chaos. He wants order. In a multiverse that is falling apart, order becomes the ultimate hero trait. If the Avengers want to save everyone, they save no one. If Doom saves some, he is technically more successful than the heroes. That is the intellectual trap of Secret Wars. Here is the theory most fans aren't ready for. The Avengers will not win Secret Wars. At least, not in the way we expect. To fix the MCU, they have to let the multiverse die. They have to stop reaching for other timelines. They have to accept that dead means dead and gone means gone. The win condition for Secret Wars is the destruction of the very thing that made the last 5 years of movies possible. They have to choose to lose their infinite reach to regain their human soul. Avengers: Secret Wars is Marvel's way of growing up. It's an admission that you can't have infinite stories without infinite consequences. The multiverse didn't fail because of the villains. It failed because the heroes and the writers kept using it as an escape hatch. Secret Wars isn't just the end of a phase. It's the end of unlimited storytelling. It's the moment Marvel trades everything is possible for this is what matters. Final question. If erasing an entire universe is the only way to save the future, does that make you a hero? Or just a god with a guilty conscience? If you want movie theories that look at the structure of the story rather than just the hype in the trailer, subscribe to CineLogic. We don't just watch movies, we decode them.